This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Bixon. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. My name is Aldo Gandia, and there he is, that good-looking gentleman. Screen left is Mike North. Mike, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Aldo, and we'll get back to what we do, the rascalness, if you will. I don't even know if that's a word, but I got to tell you, I had a nice message from a guy. I mean, when I was the hero of the neighborhood where I lived in back in Park Ridge. Okay, now Park Ridge is a more synthetic, if you will. It's more, it's nice and calm usually. But, I've had people from Norm Van Leer to my house, to Doug Buffone, Dick Butkus, Sebastian Janikowski, athletes. And I had Chazz Palminteri and Tony Darrell to my home.
Ooh,
I thought they were going to feed me. Give me a feat, I didn't mean it that way. In Little Italy, my God, the people were putting me on their shoulders. It's like having, Clark Gable and Errol Flynn in your home, if you know where I come from. So we became buddies. He came by. He did the show. We've been friends for a long time. Just to see somebody like I have known a lot of other guys like Harold Ramis and Dennis Farina, two guys who are no longer with us, do the work that they do. And this guy is a multi-talented guy, writer, actor, screenwriter, producer, entrepreneur. He's more than 4 things. He's 5 things. And he's just a regular guy. You can tell by his email. He'll give it out, let him give it out later, but it starts out with neighborhood. He never left the neighborhood, but you know what? He brought the neighborhood with him. Ladies and gentlemen, please have on Chazz Palminteri. How you doing, Chazz?
All right. How you doing, Mike? Hi, Aldo. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to have you back on.
Yeah, it is.
Blood, I appreciate it. I always love Chicago. Chicago's a great town. I love Taylor Street. I love going down there. It's a great place, man.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Things on a little bit of lockdown right now, but everybody's going to be out soon. I want to get to cut to business soon so we can, in fact, sooner rather than later, so we can talk about other things. I remember going to a place which was a Staples, Gibson Steakhouse is there now, called Mr. Kelly's. And all the top acts would come in on Rush Street, like Barbara Streisand, all the top acts. It only shot, and I always think of this when anybody's doing a podcast, it only held like 200 people. Only held 200 people, yet the biggest stars, from Freddie Prinze on, the comedian, came down there in the 70s and 80s to be realized. Now there's podcasts, and you got one going, Chazz, and how
That's
things
right.
have changed, right?
I got a podcast now. It's been 8 weeks. It's really blowing up and taking off. I'm very excited about it. The great thing about it is, Mike, and although I talk about, I do writing, acting, directing. I give a master class sometimes in 45 minutes, sometimes even longer. But also I talk about life lessons, neighborhood logic, how things would be. It's very entertaining, very funny, a lot of life lessons, and it's just blowing up. And I just tell people, check it out. And I'm very excited by it. If they want to know more about it, all they have to do is go to YouTube or just go ChazzPalminteriShow.com. And you'll get it. That's it. Just go online, go ChazzPalminteriShow.com. It's good because I still do my one-man show. Again, I'll be starting it in July.
Mm-hmm.
People want to know why I do the original one-man show, A Bronx Tale. All they have to do is go to ChazzPalminteri.net, and my schedule is there. I will be in Chicago. I will be at Ronno's restaurant. I forgot the date. I think it'll be in September. I'm not sure. Ronno Nesti's restaurant. And, but if you go to ChazzPalminteri.net, you'll see the schedule right there.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Just go to Chazz's website. You'll check out all that. Ronnie Onesti. I've known Ronnie for like 40 years. I mean, I remember when he had when he actually had a place that's for T-shirts. He screened T-shirts. He was just starting. Now he's a very powerful voice in the Italian community in Chicago and does wonderful work, no doubt about it. I got to ask you about the podcast, and what you know what was cool is you came out with a cut, and I don't care. You're the most understanding guy, probably. I mean, you come from the street, so you know maybe a lot of the stuff that goes on in Hollywood is maybe petty to you because you've been through it all. But I saw where you basically said that you had to lay in a coffin for 18 hours with Robert De Niro in Bronx Tale, the death scene. And I got to be honest with you. People can say what they want about Robert De Niro. I love him. I think what he did in Godfather 2 is a masterpiece that will ever be equaled. But to lay in a coffin for 18 hours, even the great Chazz Palminteri, who was dear friends with Robert De Niro by this time, had to have lost a piston or two along the way.
I got to be honest with you. I was, after a few hours, I said, Bob, I got to get up. It's just I got to walk around a little bit. So I would walk and get back in again. Finally, I had to stay there because we were really, we were running late. We had to get this thing going. And Bob wants to do everything 20, 30 times. So I started to fall asleep. And I started to snore. And Joe Pesci's complaining. He goes, how the hell am I going to do this scene here? The kid is snoring. What's going on? So then finally I fell asleep. And what Bob did was he said, all right, he wants to go. He doesn't want to listen. He shut the lights. He closed the coffin. He had everybody leave the set. Well, let me tell you something. I woke up. I opened my eyes. A few minutes later, I thought this was it for me. I thought they friggin' buried me. I mean, really. Let me tell you something. Now I know. You don't want to be buried like that, pal. But it was funny, and they all laughed, and we all got a kick out of it.
You know what, Chazz? I got, once again, I don't care about Bob De Niro's politics. I love him. I don't give a damn about any of that nonsense. I care about him as an actor, but he's out of his mind to make you lay in the coffin for 18 hours. I mean, come on. That's a little bit extreme, right? I mean, I don't even think John Ford would do that.
I haven't done it since, but it was a long time. I got to be 18 hours. I'll never forget it. It was a long day.
Let me ask
I had to be there because all these people had to keep coming in, paying their respects to me, and he wanted me in there. Usually you would say, you know what, put a dummy in there if you're not shooting the coffin, But and I even said, I'll be in there because they were able to, because a lot of these guys are my friends.
Sure.
They were looking at me and they were feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what's funny is that when you see great actors, they'll say, well, he's insecure. Well, first of all, if you can get on stage, act in front of people, Claire Trevor, who was in one of our favorite guys, Edward G. Robinson's, one of his great movies, Key Largo, said she never sang before. She had to sing in front of Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall, Lionel Barrymore, and stuff like that. That's not insecurity. I think they're just people that are actors. They're insecure before they get the scripts. I mean, with the ups and downs and things they go through, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a big when you read that script and you get out there in front of 100 people and you got cameras all around. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why the big thing in acting is you got to have a lot of confidence. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to be a good actor. You're just not. You got to have a lot of confidence, really.
How about actors? I saw a movie, Going Out in Style. It's with Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, fun picture, Matt Dillon, who I thought 20 years ago was going to be a iconic type actor along the, maybe things people thought that maybe they didn't. But I saw him in this movie and I actually could feel that he thought this acting role, he plays a detective, was not worthy of what he was doing. He thought he was going to be bigger. And I think that's true for a lot of people in any genre, that actually still do the job, but think they failed in a way. Am I right about this?
Well, it's up to you. Look, just to make it a really great living as an actor is an amazing feat. You have to realize only 1.5% of the people make over $100,000 a year in the union. Mm-hmm. So to make a living I've been very blessed. I've been in a lot of great movies, and I've had an incredible long career right now, over 35 years. So, I'm happy. I can't speak for anybody else, but I've been blessed. Great family and a lot of great things.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing too. Once you've made it, and once you established who you are, you have it's a brand. I mean, Chazz Palminteri is a brand. I mean,
I have 2 restaurants now. I got a great restaurant in Manhattan, Chazz Palminteri's on 30 West 46th Street. A great restaurant, and I'm opening up a new one in White Plains, New York, 264 Main Street. So, life has been really great for me, guys. I cannot complain, but you got to attribute it to the way you live your life. If you live your life the right way, life rewards you. You got to you can't have negative thoughts and do negative things and have a positive life. That's impossible. It's impossible. So I try to do the right thing. I'm not a saint. I mess up once in a while, but I try to keep the good things better than the bad things.
Everybody messes up once in a while. Everybody does. But I got to tell you this. I was reading about people that are blacklisted in the business that just recently, how tough is it it's like Cameron Diaz, 2013, voted actress that is the best in the. And since 2014, she's had roles dry up. Tobey Maguire was hot as Spider-Man. Maybe he turned down a role or something like that. Depending who you're talking to, you almost have to be political in your speech to them. If you're turning them down for something, if you're not a professional working actor, where you'll take almost anything. Would I be wrong about that? You also got to be able to solve egos, right?
Yeah, well, and I don't know Toby's case. I don't know his case at all because I don't know him.
Right.
But I know a little bit about Cameron. Cameron made a ton of money.
Sure.
She doesn't have to work the rest of her life. She don't have to work the rest of her life. And she really wants to be a mom now, from what I hear from people who know her better than I do. So, she just, she was a huge star, and she can come back anytime she wants, made a ton of money, wants to be a mother. I can understand that.
And you know what, Chazz, you're right, because Tobey Maguire, I looked at all the sale people, he's worth $60 million. So it's not like he didn't have his day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he wants to act in something that he feels like doing. If he doesn't feel like doing it, he's not going to do it. It's different for when you make that kind of money, But look, I don't like to act in things that I don't like. I'm in a stage now in my life. I'm okay. I'm okay. Things stay the way they are. I'm fine. Life has been good to me, and I'm on that great TV series, Godfather of Harlem.
Yes.
This is our second season. It's on Epix. It's a great show with Paul Sorvino and Forrest Whitaker and Vincent D'Onofrio, and it's just just a Giancarlo Esposito, just a great show. I'm very proud of it. So I work all the time. So life is. But also I'm a writer, and I write many things. So if I'm not acting, I'm writing. If I'm not writing, I'm directing. If I'm not directing, I'm producing. If I'm not doing any of that, I'm going to my restaurant and saying hi. So everything's okay, man. Life is really great. I'm a positive guy, and and I like to be with positive people. People that are fun, and I keep good friends, and we were friends many years ago.
Sure.
And you were very nice to me in the very beginning, and I never forget things like that, Mike.
Thank you, Chazz, and BB, and I think the world of you. I got to talk about my favorite Chazz Palminteri movie. Yeah, I love Bronx Tale. Are you kidding me? Of course I do. But it's Mulholland. I'm sorry. I keep watching that movie. It's a stopping point.
Yeah.
They'll jump in. I'm sorry. I could talk to you for 2 hours about that movie. I hear people say that L.A. Confidential or some of these other movies were the best film noir L.A. movies, and I'm saying to myself, what are you people watching? Maybe because some of it was in Nevada, but as far as L.A. back in the 40s. This is about as good as it gets, and that's what really attracted you to the script, right?
Exactly. When I read it, I said, wow, being a cop in the 40s in L.A., and work with Nick Nolte, who I always admired, and Michael Madsen, Chris Penn, God rest his soul. And I really, I love that movie. I loved it. It was just the feeling of it, the music of it, the acting of it. Everybody in it was just so fabulous. And it's funny you said that because it didn't really bust out big when it came out, but it does huge. It does huge now later on, and people finally found it, and it's doing fabulous.
Yeah, McCarthy, Melanie Griffith. I mean, you want to put a cast together, and Michael Madsen, who's a friend. Mike, I've been on the radio with Mike more than once, and he talks like this all the time. Always talks like this when he's just great. So the movie. How long did that shoot take before I hand you off to Aldo? Because it seemed like it was a complicated movie. John Malkovich. I mean, you had to get this ensemble's as good as any.
I would say that movie. I remember I was on it for the whole movie. I probably was around 2 months. I was 2 months, if I remember correctly.
That's not bad.
It's just a great film. Really, it's a great film.
Okay, well, we got Aldo here to ask a couple questions, my friend. Aldo, go for it, baby.
Sure.
Hey, Chazz, it's great to have you back on again. And I got to tell you, one of the most anticipated TV shows of the last several months was Elliot Stabler returning back to the Law and Order franchise. Organized Crime is the name of the new show. Law and Order, Organized Crime. And you were in the pilot episode, and I was so super excited.
So was I.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing Godfather of Harlem, and they called my agent and they said, look, they want you to do the pilot. I said, well, I can't. I'm doing this other thing. They said, well, could they let you out and do this thing a week? And I said, I can't. I'm shooting this thing. And then they said, well, we're going to pay him. If he wants to do it, we'll pay him this. And I said, what time do you want me to be? That's basically how I can't be any more honest. I said, what? I said, okay. So then I called the producers of Godfather. I said, would you let me out this week to do this? And they were very sweet. They said, sure. And I said, great. All right. So, it worked out really well for me. So
yeah, but they killed you. People want to see on both series. They killed you, right?
Yes. I died in the first episode.
What an arrangement.
But I really loved Chris Maloney. He's a wonderful actor. Dick Wolf is great. So I knew they were going to make a great show. And so, I said, hey, you want to pay me that much and be on a great show, work with those great people? Absolutely. Mm. So I was able to work it out. But I do love the Law and Orders. They're terrific.
Yeah, they really are. We've got John Santucci in the chat room, and he wants to know what it was like working with Woody Allen and the amazing cast of talented actors in Bullets Over Broadway, which you, of course, were nominated for a Best Supporting Actor award.
Yes. I could tell you a great story about Woody Allen. Woody Allen, once he hires you, he never talks to you again. That's it. No, he doesn't. No, I'm serious. He doesn't direct you, and he believes in that. He lets the actor do what he wants, right? But if he starts talking to you, that's a bad sign. Mm-hmm. That means he's not happy with what you're doing, and you're going to get fired soon. Because he does that. He's legendary. He shot a movie 3 times once with 3 different casts. So we were doing the scene, me and John Cusack by the bar. It's a very long scene, and it's no cuts. He likes to shoot in all cover, no coverage, just all straight. So just before we were about to do it, Woody says, "Hold on, guys, I want to talk to you." And me and him were like, "Uh-oh, what did we do?" Right? So he walks over to us. I'll never forget it. And he said, "Hey guys, it's a very long scene. Speed it up. The Knicks are on at 8:00. That's what he said. He said, I want to see the game. The New York Knicks are on at 8:00. Speed it up. I'll never forget that. And we laughed.
Awesome.
But my final question. Go ahead, Chazz.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my final question is that, Mike is developing a Hollywood movie based on his life, and I desperately want a role in that movie. So I'm going to audition for something. You have any advice for a guy like me who's the only acting I've ever done is news reporting, pretending to know what I'm talking about when I'm holding a microphone in front of a fire or a murder scene or anything like that? You have any advice for a novice actor who might be auditioning for a role in the Mike North story?
Well, first thing is see if you can get a role as a news reporter auditioning about something.
There you go.
Talking about
That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. A second thing is you see how relaxed you are and talking on right now. Try to have that same feeling. Acting is all relaxation, confidence, and listening to the other actor. That's some of the keys I give in my podcast that I do every Monday. Let me throw that back in at 11 o'clock. New episode every Monday. But I tell the people who want to act, I said the three most important things in acting are, number one, relaxation. You've got to be relaxed. If you're not relaxed, you can't act. Second thing is know your lines. The third thing is listen to the other actor. If you do those three things, you can do it. You can do it. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done.
I'll tell you what, too. Chazz offers one-on-one personal coaching sessions via Zoom. So for more information, visit his website. Chazz, we appreciate it very, very much. We won't bring up your Yankees too much. They're
oh, God.
You know, I mean, my God, the two guys, Chazz, you know this. When you were playing stickball, you had to be flexible. I mean, you got the two biggest guys. They look like bodybuilders, for God's sake. I mean, my God, they look like tight ends. They're too round tight. They got to be like Babe Ruth. They got to be like Mantle, Tommy Trash. Have some fun. They're just built like brick shit houses. You know what I mean?
Listen, I get so scared when they hit a ball in the gap and they get a double. I got my heart in my mouth. Please, God. Please, don't run. I get so nervous. I got to hit a home run, please.
Don't pull a muscle between third and home on a home run. Chazz, you're the best. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll watch your podcast.
Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, Chazz Palminteri, the great Chazz
Palminteri. Oh, my gosh. Was that awesome or what? I mean, he is not only a fabulous actor, but he is a genuinely nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah, sort of makes me want to be more of a man like him. But I can't because I do sports in this town. You can't be. Look, if you're known as a nice guy and you've been doing radio, sports radio, or sports of any kind in Chicago for 30 years, then you haven't been selling papers or doing good on the radio. I'm sorry. If you're trying to be nice and trying to be relevant, I mean, this is some of the stuff that we have an announcement we're going to be making in about 3 to 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. We're very excited by it because it's going to revolutionize things not only in Chicago, but in other locales. So we're excited about that. We'll be announcing that, Aldo and I, and some other things. It's but also, I mean, you just can't handle some of the stuff that's being spewed nowadays. And that's why, when you hear people say, and I get on this soapbox, that the legendary columnist is retiring or this legend, and then you look at what their body of work and you look at what happened to the business while they were there.
Yeah.
And the only legendary from their friends. I mean, you cannot. I mean, seriously, I can name names. I'm not going to do it. I mean, but there's people that walk around like they're the cat's meow, and there's ratings in some, whether it's news, whether it's sports or whatever, although their ratings are about as high as my alcohol level. And I haven't drank for 15 years, but I still got something left. I mean, so that's all I'm saying. You know why Jiggs and I were big? And you know why we'll always be remembered? Because we were what this country needs right now. I'm tempted to call him and to get us back. I am. Because then you heard always, and I don't know if it would be sports. I put me and Jiggs on political radio because nobody is telling both sides. Nobody. That's why the Chicago Tribune can't find a buyer. Mm-hmm. You play one side only, you're going to lose. If you got a station that's known as one side only, you're not going to do what you can do. Mm-hmm. You're not. And why everybody wants to be the same, whether it's a paper, whether it's TV or radio, and not be a little bit different, is laughing at history.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm here to tell you, Jiggs and I were free to talk about anything in 92, and you could talk about anything. I've told you, back then there were only 7-8 words you couldn't say. Now there's 7-8 words you could say. And I know this about Dan. We would not have liked that. And the reason I can still say I have made, look, followings are like I told Chazz. You do a podcast nowadays, and you're going, man, I only got 200 people. That's who Barbara Streisand played in front of at Mr. Kelly's. You look at the 400 people, 300 people. The Gold Sardine Bar used to be big in Chicago. It's at 40 or something. It's where you were playing. It didn't matter how many people you were being viewed by. And people don't have, if you have egos about that, you're nuts. And believe me when I tell you this, because I was big before Twitter, okay? I don't have to have Twitter. It doesn't matter. You have Twitter. I have Twitter for business, for things that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people on Twitter that I think are fantastic. You get them on radio, they can't complete a sentence. I'm serious. We know them. We hear them. But then you see what they do. Well, there's a difference between having time to think about something and being clever and to shoot from the hip. And now trying to be careful. You can't shoot from the hip and be careful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're Howard Stern, who is sold out. He's a sellout now. He's hosting game shows or something. I don't know what he's doing. He's on his show, but it's never going to be what it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kick him off terrestrial radio. I mean, that's just the way it is. I got plenty of friends that are gone that were in the business. You know, so that's just the way it is now. It's just the climate. But you got to have both sides, folks. That's why Jiggs and I did it. And that's why it worked. And for the life of me, maybe I'll call Jiggs and say, let's do it for 2-3 years and get everybody straightened out in this town. Because back then there was reasonable debate. And we took callers. Here's what I would say about Twitter. The people on Twitter, for the most part, 80% of them, now I know why Jesse Rogers and Abby Polanski and Jen Patterson and Jerry Riles and Judge, that's why they were phone screeners. These people would have never made it. You had to have an argument. I heard a guy the other day, I made a good point. You know what he said? Well, I didn't know about that. Well, don't try to pitch the Bambino and then state an argument and then you don't have one. Okay, you're the 10-year-old that wet his pants. And the class is laughing at you. That's what we get on Twitter now. Or you're a boomer. You got to make it here, son.
Mm-hmm.
Make it to where I made it. Okay? That's all. And a lot of other people. I'm proud to be a boomer. Are you kidding me? That's when look at the baseball. Look at the baseball. I'm on a roll now. Don't get me even started. You know who says baseball's boring?
Who's that?
The people who got rid of the rules.
That's right.
The people, let me tell you, Rob Manfred, they're hearing this word, baseball's boring. Where's the take out the guy at second base? Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Number one.
Yep.
Strikeout, walk, or home run, 37%. I want to ask everybody this, because I was told that analytics would make the game better. Since analytics came in, it's the worst played game of the 4 major sports. Period. I don't want to hear about analytics anymore. All you geeks and dorks sold people on analytics. And the main team that was touted besides the Oakland A's, Billy Beane, got a movie made based on analytics. He's never won a damn thing. And the Houston Astros cheated. So you're going to tell me about analytics. They don't even list batting average anymore in certain towns, like Chicago, Marquee. Why not? That's what we want to see. I don't want to see OPS. Because you know what? I watched Dwayne Kuiper. What an announcer. He actually describes the action, okay, in San Francisco. I watched baseball all over. Cleveland last night. They're giving the batting average. In Boston, batting average. Chicago, OPS. Get with it, man. What's wrong with you people? Who took out, hey, Aldo, who took out, this is unbelievable. There's netting all over the place. There was a ball hit the other night, 320 feet. Foul. It hit a net. Down there, you got to, come on now. And then let me ask you this. What was the thing that used to wake up the fans? 2, maybe, managers going at it. It would wake up the fans. It's over. They replay you to death. They're defense attorneys now. Wait a minute, I'm not done. These are the same people that put all these rules in. No sliding. Oh, no collision because one guy, Buster Posey, got hurt. No collisions at home plate. And then they're the same people that get rid of all the cool stuff in baseball that made people rise out of their seat. And now you sit like this and you're going, boy, baseball's boring. Yeah, you made it boring. You made it boring. You took the rules. You're playing 7-inning games. And not one person, they won't take a poll of the fans. And here, I'm going to tell you why. You know who wants the shorter games? Wait a minute, I got to take a break. Okay. even Ali took a timeout. All right? Even Jagger says, let Keith Richards play and sing a song so you'll be happy to see me after he's gone. But this is a bunch of nonsense. And here, George Hoffman will tell you, David Schuster will tell you, Mike Greenberg will tell you, any reporter worth his ass will tell you. They're the ones that want the shorter games. They're the ones. George used to complain about, I was there to the 16th inning. Oh, my God, 4 hours? Huh? Creamy. Ask Ryan Hanley. Ask Terry Boers. Ask any of them. They're the ones. They've been complaining since I've been in the business. Oh, I got home late last night. What time? 12-inning ball game. Got home about 11:30. Come on, man. You're in your 30s. Remember?
Yes.
They're the ones complaining. And everybody that has something to do with baseball, everybody that has something to do with baseball is for this rule. And everybody that doesn't have something to do with baseball, especially bettors who are betting 7-inning doubleheaders in the major leagues, won't say they're telling you it sucks. The baseball people want to keep their blessed jobs, right?
Yes, exactly.
See, I'm Chazz. I don't give a rat's ass. That's me. I'm in Chazz's position. I don't care. That's the problem. You got a bunch of weenies. Oh, we need shorter games, and it's the relief pitchers that they want to save. Oh, my ass. They want to get home so they can have their leftover pizza. Come on. From the night before that they got from the press box. Hey, listen to this. Hey, Aldo, am I right or wrong?
You are right.
I'm telling you. I thought that there was a nuclear war or something. Then I found out they were charging reporters like $2 in the press box. That went on. But, we're getting robbed of our taxes. But that $2 for the hot dog. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is what it is. I want to hear Mike Greenberg say that that's good. I want my old buddy Mike Greenberg. I'm calling Mike out. I haven't talked to Mike for forever, but we follow each other. I want to see what he thinks about it. As just a baseball fan, and then as a reporter, two different stories.
Yeah,
they ruined the game, and then they're bored. It's like taking the kickoff out of football.
That is hilarious.
And it wasn't because of Devin Hester, all you knuckleheads. My God. The rules get weaker and weaker because of they don't want people to get hurt or something. That's what we heard back in 2014. Where was everybody? Oh, they changed it because of Devin Hester. No, they changed the basketball rules because of Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Here's what they did. They took the dunk away when Alcindor was a freshman. And then 4 years later, they go, is he gone? Yeah. And they put it back in. That's changing the game. You know what they did with Wilt Chamberlain? He'll score 100 every night. Let's widen the lane. Yeah, he's been in there too long. Let's invent 3 seconds. That's changing the game. Devin Hester was great, but knock it off. He didn't change the game. Concussions changed the game. Otherwise, they'd still be in. They'd still be in. Period. I love Devin Hester, but knock it off. If it was because of kickoff returns, they would have changed in 65 with Gale Sayers when he averaged 32 yards a kickoff return. Period. What's happened to everybody?
It's that simple, right, Mike?
What's happened to everybody? I'm watching the game last night. There's 6 guys arguing, 2 with masks and 4 without. I don't know. I'm confused. I I can't believe. Did I watch a game? Nobody's in one stadium and 40,000 are in another stadium. I'm at a loss for words. You know, my God.
That's right.
And then the NBA. There's some guy. I forget his name now. He just broke Gordie Howe's record.
Oh, Patrick Merlot. No, not Merlot. Something like that.
Let me just say this on behalf of everybody who was the casual hockey fan. I love the game. Now, I never heard of the guy, and he's broke Gordie Howe's record. Okay, here's what I do know. To play that many games and to break Gordie Howe's record, that should have been first. That should have been at the top of the list, even though I don't remember the guy's name. Maybe I would have if it was. Maybe if I would have if it was reported to do what he did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Cal Ripken, impressive. Play 1,780 hockey games. My God, and there's like 700 in a row he's played now.
Yeah.
And he's still around, and he looks good. I mean, my God. I mean, 22, 23 seasons. And once again, let me state to everybody, because you know me, I don't lie to nobody. I never really heard of the guy before, to be honest. And that's the problem. But you know what? I can't cover them all like I used to. You know what I mean?
That is hilarious. There he is. His name is Patrick Marleau. He's a really good left winger.
Yeah.
Played
Really
a lot of games, but nobody knows him.
The hell is that thing on his shirt? No, I know he's San Jose. It's supposed to be a shark with a hockey stick. He's breaking in half. Believe me, the guy's gone. The guy that was holding the stick was eaten already. They don't tell you. They should have had a leg sticking out. He had a leg sticking out with the stick because he didn't go after the stick first. Let me ask you something. He didn't go after the boat and Jaws first. He had to go through the boat to get to Robert Shaw. Come on. Know your shark's bait. Come on, know what your shark bait is.
Oh, Mike. Okay, so listen, I asked Chazz, advice. Give me some advice for acting. So I'm going to ask you, what advice do you have for, because everybody's doing a podcast now. Everybody wants to do a sports podcast and so forth. What advice do you have for people who, like yourself, you owned 3 hot dog stands and then you got into radio broadcasting. So you'd be the perfect guy to ask, hey, how do I do what you did?
I still got a twitch from that area. How did that happen? How did this guy get through? Who the hell is this man? He's going to ruin our good thing. Do you believe he's questioning us? How dare he say Candy Maldonado's not going to be a star? Who is this guy? We're gonna. Who is this guy? Wani. You got to be entertaining, because if you're not, I watch podcasts and I try them, and 90% of them aren't entertaining. I mean, 90%, but the other 10% are.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're just going to go, well, yeah, and he could have hit the ball better, and the other guy goes, yeah, he's 1 for his last 12, and another guy goes, yeah, who thought he was going to start? Sorry, you got to make it people want to listen to you, and I don't mean that you say stuff on purpose. People, and we're going to, with our little deal, which is going to be great, people are going to find out I never said something I didn't mean. I know people that do, and then they forget what they said. So they have two opposites of opinion.
Yeah.
If you're yourself, you got to live and die with your style. Right. And if you're trying, and a lot of guys, good for them. A lot of people, women, men do podcasts, and some of them 10 times better than ours. 10 times. Okay. So we're not, but there's a lot that aren't. I mean, you just got to find some sort of audience. Like I said, I had a guy tell me, God, I only have 330 people. I go, who knew you yesterday? Who knew you yesterday? And you have 330 people. That's pretty damn good. That's 330 people you're delivering your message to, and 100 of those people may tell somebody else.
Exactly.
You build an audience. You don't build an audience with content. You bring human with contests.
Right.
And once they come in because of contests or anything else, then they listen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's an old saying: you can get them to the door. Can you get them to stay once they go in? That's and you know what? When you work for powerful commodities, radio stations, don't be fooled by the amount of people that listen to you that you think it's because of you. Because if you've been watching radio of late, one guy takes over for another guy, there's no difference. They bring some guys back that failed to try again because they don't want to do things or think outside of the box. You know, why was Colin McGregor so big? No matter what. If Colin McGregor didn't have the tattoos, the flash, or what have you, he would have been like a lot of guys in the UFC who knock people out all the time that you can't even remember their names. What made him as big as the UFC? His brand. If you can develop some type of brand, we said it, Aldo, to Chazz Palminteri. I said, Chazz, you're a brand. You're not Chazz Palminteri no more. He admits it. Robert De Niro's a brand. But they got to be ready. The one thing I didn't ask Chazz Palminteri, and it's the absolute truth. He said it the last time we were on, and I wanted to follow up on it, Aldo. He said, you know what? I go, Chazz, you know, how you sometimes, you know, in a movie you don't really like. And he said, I'm a professional actor. It's up to me to do what I got to do. That's why they hire people like us.
Right.
It wasn't snotty. He's a pro. He's been there. I acted in a movie already, and it's no fun. It's no fun. I didn't have that many lines. I had about 10, 12 lines in a movie called Eden Court. Okay, you can get it on you know, whatever. Eden Court. I play Otto, a liquor salesman in a small town.
Is that right?
I have a Hawaiian shirt, everything else. You can look up Eden Court. It was about a minor league player who comes back. He ends up mowing the lawn in a small town where he was a minor league player. He was projected for stardom. Then he blew out his knee. Richard Wilson was in it from Scent of a Woman. One of the girls was on Mad TV. Stephanie, someone, a blonde hair, Stephanie Ware. I had a scene with her, but I was horrible. I think, and they told me, no, you're good. I go, no, I suck. Okay, because I didn't have that confidence that Bridget Wilson had. I was afraid I was going to forget my line, and there's like 50 people looking at you, and we shot it at Schaumburg. It was a locally shot film by Falcon Pictures.
Wow.
And Carl Amari was the founder, and we had a first-time director, and he was saddled with knuckleheads like me, who I went to acting school, but I had long ago left. Exactly. That's the one I was in.
Wow.
And that was shot, PC, this is stuff that people don't know that eventually will come out. That was shot at Flyer Stadium. That's where the movie, where the baseball part of it is shot.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. I know if you look up maybe they took me out, but if you look up the cast
on IMDb, sure.
Yeah, I'm Otto the liquor salesman, and I'm in the movie, and it's great. And I was so scared to death, and I got confidence in a lot of things. But you know, I always told my mom, if I'm lousy at 1,000 things, but I'm pretty good at 2 or 3, and maybe one of these things will pan out. And so this wasn't one of them. You know,
there he is, Mike North.
There I am, Otto. Otto. People in the movie. Some great people with Kimberly Williams, who now is Kimberly. She was the one that danced with Pacino in Scent of a Woman. Stephanie Ware was on Mad TV for years. The other people besides them, I really did not know. They were first-time actors. It was a low-budget film. I was asked if I'd like to be in the movie, and I was. And I realized how much I can't believe how great actors are that are at the top of their game.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you were a movie star already.
Well, maybe someday we'll do something together, some sort of groundbreaking thing that will be announced in about 4 weeks. And we got a lot of people behind us. And I don't know. We're going to make the announcement about a month, but it's going to, from what I hear, revolutionize the game. What else is new? But and quite frankly, I mean, it involves you, which surprises you, and that involves me, which surprises me. So Yeah, I'm stunned by this. So, like Chazz says, things are good, right, Aldo?
Things are awesome.
So let's talk about other things besides that. The White Sox, no, Tony La Russa doesn't know what he's doing things lately because they won today.
That's right.
I'm used to the stories. My guy Harp, is he there? He's one of those guys that flows with the team, If they win, they're going to win the series. If they lose, they're going to be worse than the 62 Mets. If they win, La Russa's the greatest. Well, no, he doesn't say that. But Harp's listening, I know, and I love him. Stick with Tony La Russa. I think he's doing a pretty good job. And boy, I'm glad he hit out of his funk yesterday with 3 hits. Mm-hmm. But Abreu misses Eloy. Mm-hmm. He misses the protection.
Yeah.
The pitches that he's getting this year, he did not get last year. They're different because you didn't want to get the Eloy. I mean, Eloy's a guy that was saying, I'm going to be MVP. That's somebody you don't trifle with. He's that confident. And Abreu, it was good to see him break out yesterday. The White Sox maybe playing a little bit better. Defensively, they're plus 14 right now in the minus plus. So they're starting to, even though they're 9-9, they're right there, Aldo. So they're not too far out. They really aren't. I'm not unhappy about 9-9. I'm not. I mean, we've had some good games. We've had some bad games. We were without Tim Anderson. We're missing McCann. I don't even want to get – oh, yeah, I want to get into it.
I thought you did.
See, Aldo doesn't like to bring things back that I say when I'm right about because of the hand cramp. Okay? You know what I mean?
That's right.
From pulling stuff up. That's why I know. Isn't it amazing the people that wanted Foles, wanted McCann out of town and Trubisky? Yeah, and wanted also Grandel. I just sense the same pattern, and I have nothing against this guy, except I can talk, and nobody else can. And the reason I can talk is Aldo will never forget the day. And if he did, I always am, if I'm right especially, will remind him, but I'll remind him when I saw it. That's what I do in my acting career. Let me tell you something. The day that Yaz, as they call him, Yasmani Grandel signed, the day we were on the air.
Right.
We were on the air. And I went, like in the movies?
Yep.
I go, we got James McCann and we got the Zach Collins kid. Oh no. He frames pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Oh, look at that. Strike 1. That's cool. It was outside. He framed the pitch. Let's sign him for $77 million. From day one, and I can talk because Aldo, I think I burned it into his skull for about 15 minutes. How I thought that wasn't the right move. Why don't these teams talk to me? Because now the people that wanted him, that heard the framing from the first time that the White Sox fed the media, because I'm hearing guys that I respect going, he's a good framer. They never said it before in their life about any catcher. Good framer. Now he's hitting 130. Okay, McCann, they play once a week. He's hitting 260. He's the best defensive catcher we got. Did you watch it debacle behind home plate last night?
Yep.
Interference, error. I mean, the Sox catchers are horrible right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will Grandel, here's what I do know. The $77 million, he took the highest bid. That's what I understand. Mm-hmm. The Sox, in my opinion, huge misjudgment paying him that kind of money when you had McCann and you could have paid him less. And that day, you weren't for or against. You just listened to me, and then we heard all the nonsense. I told you, I think 3 weeks in, I'm right about Grandel because all the morons think it's a good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Maybe he'll go on a tear, and I hope he does. But my job, I don't like hindsight. I like foresight. That's why I'm still around. Because I say ahead of time a guy's going to suck.
Yeah.
We overspent for him. Say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And Zach Collins, I knew wouldn't be that good a player, but at least you can maybe pick up another catcher with the 30 you would have had left over for signing McCann for 35 or 40 million.
Yep.
Give him the extension, right?
I'm with you on this. I'm totally 100% with you. That was one of Rick Hahn's biggest mistakes since the GM. We got a couple of questions in the chat room. Let me start with Santiago, who is a White Sox fan. He wants to know, do you think the Cubs suck?
No, I hope not.
7-9 record.
7-9, but you know what? It's better than it was, man. It was brutal. The first 2 weeks might be the worst baseball I ever saw a team play offensively. Baez is not worth 250, 300 million. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lindor's a player, and he went to the Mets for a ton of money. I'm not paying Baez what I'm paying Lindor. I'd rather have Lindor any day of the week. Anthony Rizzo, somebody called him a franchise player. I've never said, I don't know many people, they love Rizzo. But hey, Rizzo's in town today. Not like Banks. You don't run to the TV. I think Chris Bryant, if he hit, would be a bigger franchise player than Rizzo, in my opinion. But they want extensions for everybody, and we'll see what happens. Maybe if they turn this thing around. And David Ross, I said he's the wrong guy for the job a week ago. Mm-hmm. I said I'd rather have Ozzie Guillen. And since that time, they're playing better baseball. I always light a fire under these teams' ass. You know that. They are. Come on, Aldo. You know it's me. I say Ozzie Guillen, the next thing you know, they scored 13 runs. Holy Christ. That guy's coming there? Forget about it. Rossi, boom, 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 boom. I mentioned Ozzie Guillen's coming, where they would have to be held accountable all the time. Boom, home runs, boom. And then the Ozzie Guillen talk dies down. Ground ball to short. He's out by 3. Baez, I think, struck out, 4 times yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And you're pushing for a new deal because you can pick up a ground ball and you're flashy? Forget about it. You got to hit. If you don't hit, you're not making that kind of money, man.
Well, they in my mind, I think they're going to be an under 500 team when the season ends. And I'm not saying that because I'm a White Sox fan, as like Santiago, but I just have a gut feel that this team is just in disarray. And but we'll see. We got a couple of questions regarding the Chicago Bears. Everybody is anticipating the NFL draft next week. John Hagan asked the questions. Mike, John is a great guy. He says he asks if you are the Bears general manager, would you draft a running back or an offensive lineman in this coming
offensive lineman?
Right,
offensive lineman. It's a no-brainer. So they'll probably draft a running back and move up. Since Mike North said draft an offensive lineman.
I do think that. The team.
They do the opposite of me all the time, and they end up losing millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They do the opposite of a lot of people, not just me, believe me.
But I think that the running back position should be set now with David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen coming back from injury, and they signed this kid who should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl when the Chiefs won, Damian Williams. He didn't play last year. I think he opted out, but he's back in football and with the Bears. So I think they've got a strong running back.
From the COVID?
Yeah, I think he did. I think that's why he didn't play last year. It's like
the kind of guy I want on my sideline.
I knew you were going to say that.
Foxhole, come on in. No, I'm opting out. Oh. There's 100 Germans coming at me. I'm doing a World War II scenario. I'll be back next year. Okay. Good luck, everybody. That's the kind of guy you get on your team. I'm watching Midway. And they're flying straight down at aircraft carriers, firing anti-aircraft guns at them, and I'm hearing about a guy that opted out because he's afraid he's going to get COVID.
That's hilarious. King Pookie Nation, Aldo.
King Pookie Nation.
He's one of the best. He says, what's your thought about this Bears fans who think Andy Dalton, he spells, will change the Bears?
Well, just read what they said about him and then read what they said about Foles.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. He's going to change the game. He's going to make the Bears better. He's a 6-10 guy on a better football team last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just total nonsense. I hope they do well. I'm not rooting against the Bears, but this doesn't seem like a team, and they all love Mitch. I don't care what anybody says. And you know what? Once again, I will explain to everybody, because I talked to my pal Carmen DeFalco about this. I think that he knew this, but this doesn't fit the narrative, not only of radio or TV people at times, but I had to tell him that Steve Young was 3-16 as a starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that he was considered a bust. And then Bill Walsh, if you read his quote, and by the way, as a guy that appeared in games way under 500 also, not just starter. As a starter 3-16, he had already played for the Houston Gunslingers, in the USFL, so he was experienced coming in. He couldn't play dead. Well, guess what happens? Bill Walsh sees that they're going to get rid of him, or they want to get rid of him. He's considered a bust. He goes, you know what? I'll take a chance on him. He seems to have good offensive movement. That's it. He didn't become a bust, but I never was that enamored with him because I already saw what he could do with a team that wasn't that good, like Mitch has done with a team that isn't that good. Right. He didn't go 3-16. He went 29-21 with the team, basically like Tampa's offense back in the day. If you look up their team,
right.
But Steve Young wasn't a bust because he went to maybe the greatest offense in the last 50 years in the NFL with the greatest offensive players. So that's my point. Do you know how long Steve Young held a clipboard, folks? Anybody? Because I keep hearing Mitch Trubisky's going to hold a clipboard for 1 year because I know there's another coach on that team that everybody's coveting as a next head coach. And I know Mitch is going to go there. Or that's the plan because they like him. But for 1 year, he's on a playoff team. And people are questioning that nobody wants him. Okay? Watch what happens, okay? Because nobody wanted Steve Young. Okay, I'm not saying he's going to be Steve Young because he probably won't play for a team that talented. But I have faith in him if Allen goes down and they run the ball all the time. They run him all the time. He's already had a concussion. So if Mitch gets in, he'll be with a competent football team. Right. That's my point. But Steve Young held a clipboard for 4 years. 4. And I got to hear about a guy that's doing the right thing for his career and not maybe signing or pushing for a signing with a crap team that makes him look bad. He already played for a crap offense. Why would he want to do the same thing? He'd rather be a backup with a shot at playing and improving his wage. I still have a bet because the guys at Visson don't believe in Mitch Trubisky. My guy, Paulie Howard, Mitch Moss, great guys. Sensational at what they do.
But they don't believe in Mitch. Huh?
So I got a bet that I'm going to fly in and I'm going to take them to a restaurant that I have interest in from Lettuce, which is called Joe Stone Crab. If I lose, I fly in. If they want me on, that's fine. But I'll fly in, I'll buy them dinner. I mean, if I lose. Right. If I win, I fly in. They buy me dinner, and I'm getting at least a half an hour on their program. Okay, nationally.
Nice.
That's the deal. My condition is Mitch Trubisky has to play 5 games and start them. Okay, and that they'll make the playoffs. That's the bet.
So 5 games this upcoming season, 2021. Okay.
Right. So in other words, if he plays 4 games, goes 3-1, I don't win. It's not fair to them. Right. Because Josh Allen got most of the wins. If he plays 5 games as a backup for Buffalo, and it's in the middle of the season, they'll make the playoffs. He's a better team, and and that system, from what I hear, suits him. They run the quarterback. Isn't that amazing? He's going to where they roll the guy out in a lot of instances, not just throw from the pocket.
Right. Well, you know what is also interesting is that Josh Allen is still under his rookie contract. So this is his 4th year, and so he's got I forget what it's called. He's got
a franchise type of situation coming up. I think.
That 5th year option. So and the Bears refused to pick up Mitch's 5th year option.
No, Mitch refused to be traded in a deal for them too. I think it was a 2-way street. Mitch.
No. This was last year when the Bears had the opportunity to pick up the.
And they didn't pick up his deal. I get you
exactly. And so right now Buffalo is undergoing the same kind of negotiations with Josh Allen, and so I think that they are holding that over the agents, saying, "Hey, we got Mitch here. So don't think that, we'll be up shit's creek, excuse my language, if we don't sign a long-term deal with us." So I think that's...
Yeah, the only people that think Mitch Trubisky is not good are Bear people and Bear fans. I mean, seriously, Buffalo fans are thrilled to have him. They like that. They like that backup. And we got that 5th. They like that backup. He's going to be the best backup in football just by record alone and by touchdowns and stuff like that. But it's going to be an interesting bet. He's got to play in 5 games, though. I have full faith in him. If Allen goes down for 2 games, you got Mitch Trubisky, a starter in the league since week 1, except when, and I loved how they didn't pick up Mitch's option because they had to sign Foles for $20 million. That's why they didn't pick up his option. Let's always remember that, folks. We got a better plan. Nick Foles. There you go. We got another plan. Okay, Dalton, Andy. Remember him? The red-haired kid. They make the playoffs with Allen. I mean, they're spending 40 million on 2 guys that were supposed. One guy was supposed to be the answer. Now another guy is. And they let the one guy go to a better team. I love it. And he's got a winning record.
That's unbelievable.
Who do you think's going to have brighter days? Buffalo Bill fans or Bear fans this year?
Well, I'm telling you, the Chicago Bears franchise is in huge trouble if they don't figure out this quarterback.
If Dalton comes out and has a big year and makes Nagy look good, God bless it, I'll be the first to say it.
Yeah.
But all I keep hearing is people hate Nagy, but they agree with the quarterback thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Hugh says, I don't think Mitch is terrible either, Mike, but the league kind of showed what they thought of him with that 1-year contract.
He missed why I said Steve Young was a bust for 4 years. He missed that part. and never had the stats that Mitch Trubisky has, but they won't tell you that. You know, all the big houses like, that are supposed to know this stuff don't even know it. I mean, I just hear nonsense every day, so it's just great. You know. And then basically we got everything, and then here's what we got. Like I said, we're the only team, we're the only city, along with Fergie, Billy, Santo, and Ernie. Mm-hmm. We're the only city that's going to have statues for 4 players that never tasted champagne. That's where we come from. Don't put us.
That's unbelievable. Hey, Mike, I got to tell you, thank you very, very much. You sent me something via text, and you said, take this, you'll make some money. I did, and now it's time to do the same thing for all of our listeners.
Yeah, he won again. I sent him I'm losing. I lost last night. Kansas City sucks, 14-7. And then my other game was the rain out. Yeah! Well, thank God the rain out might have saved me the way that my last couple of days are going. I'm 1-2-1. I got to push. I mean, I don't like that kind of thing. I work too hard, and you're never really. You say to yourself, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You stick with what you know.
Right.
I got one game for everybody right now.
You got one winner for everybody right now.
Yeah, boy, way to pump me. New York Yankees today. Take them as a favorite against Atlanta. The Yankees suck. The system gave me the Yankees. If you want, fade me if you don't. And by the way, to the guy that tweeted me, the 2 guys that tweeted me the other day that said, hey, you should put units because I lost a little bit more money on this game than I thought. After I go 14-3 with you with Yurko and Carmen, I hope you enjoyed me blocking both of you, and you'll never get my pick again. You don't go up to a guy that I've been taking your picks for 3 months. Hey, wait a minute! I lost more than I thought. Insta block. I love Insta block.
That is great.
Take the Yankees.
Take the Yankees. Is this in honor of Chazz being on the show that you want us to take the Yankees, or is the system really saying take the Yankees? I can put that bet down with some confidence. What are you saying here, Mike?
How dare you? How dare you? I don't care if Jesus Christ is sitting there and he says, give me a game, because I can tell you this. If Christ picked like I have to pick every day, I don't know if he'd have a winning record. Okay? I don't even know if Jesus would have a winning record. Because God lets you move in particular ways, just like he lets people throw interceptions in particular ways. I guarantee it. Jesus could walk. Jesus was resurrected. But I know this. He'd watch Bad Beats with Scott Van Pelt. Damn it. I thought I was going to win that game. Why is that ref making that call? I mean, the guy went after people in the temple. You get a little feisty once in a while. I like the Yankees. Take the Yankees today, my friend.
Q loves your hockey picks, and he's saying, do you have any hockey leans tonight?
I'll put one up later if I got one, Q. I win on hockey. I've been losing in the NBA because they don't play all the time. Damian Lillard said the other night, Tooch says this the other day. They're free picks. People complain. He saw it on Twitter. The loudest noise comes from the cheapest seats. It was.
He took care of
He's called Uncle Crappy, and he's 75 games under 500, and he's talking. He's basically talking to Spencer Tracy, of acting, or he's talking to a guy that does his job and works hard and gives free picks every day. And his name's Uncle Crappy. So at least I know the guy knows what he is. I love Uncle Crappy. I used to love him. He's black.
Tooch has a pick. He's saying bet on the Oilers tonight. So Mike will check that.
Tooch, let's see what we got here with Edmonton tonight. That's a good one. They got I wouldn't touch this game, but you got it. They're playing Montreal, I believe. Yes, they are, Tooch.
All right.
Look at you. Thanks, Tooch.
That's cute.
Yeah. Some guy named JoJo came up with a pick. See you, Mike. Tooch. No, I love Tooch. Tooch steps out.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Tooch has stepped out a few times. He's had some good winners.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you don't hear from him for a couple of days. You know I'm the only dummy that goes, I was 1-3 last night. I'm the only guy that goes like this. Ding, ding, ding. Here, I'll let everybody know I suck. Ding, ding, ding. Tooch goes, well, that was a tough game. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, gosh. You're absolutely right. I don't see anybody else saying, yeah, I was 1-3 last night. No, I don't see any of these. No. I don't see any of them.
Hey, last 100 games, 97-3. 700 units. I go on Twitter. And I see the whole list of games, and they got like check marks. Like 11-1 yesterday. I never saw your picks. Where you at? It's a great business. You're better off being honest, so people stick with you. They won't know you're BS artists. And there's some legit guys out there.
Oh, sure.
Gambling Twitter's got listen, but there's some guys. Hey, I was 5-6. You never hear them tell. I was 2-9 last night.
That's right.
But if they were 9-2, they got explosions. So
hey, Hugh Heavens has a great suggestion for an actor to play you in your bio movie, and that is Sam Rockwell. Do you know Sam Rockwell? He played
Chuck
Barrett. That's right. He played Chuck Barrett. Great.
I like him, but he's a little. I like him, but how old is he now? I like Ike Barinholtz.
Oh yeah. Ike is my number one choice.
That's on my choice. That's the one I want. He's from Rogers Park. He listened to the Monsters. He's a score listener. He's if you look him up, folks, just look him up. He knows how I did things. I've heard these. He's interested in seeing some things. That's all I'm going to say. So
interesting. By the way, Sam Rockwell is 52 years old. What age are you?
40. Well, no, you're looking from 35 to about 50 or something like that, or something like that. Now, we don't know. We're going to have me as a kid, too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. You'll see what kind of rat bastard I really was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll see everything. Let me tell you something. You know what? I got some good names for the movie, too, coming up, but we got some big project coming up we're going to announce, which is going to change the game reportedly. From people that are big timers, so looking forward to that. We'll just tease that for about 4 months.
A quick question: there's still the working title. It's not finalized for the movie, but the working title is "Raging Mouth." Correct?
Yeah, that one for that title is it. But I got for something else. I got a different one.
Right. And he has another suggestion for tonight. He says he likes the Suns.
The Suns tonight. They got a tough ball game. Look at my guys calling it now. Yeah. I always say, okay. Here's what I know about Tooch or anybody else, including me. It's tough to be 2-0. So if you take Montreal against Tooch, okay, and who's Phoenix playing? Philadelphia.
Philly.
Pick it. You'll win one and lose one, maybe, because he's that good. He's good. Tooch is good. Hopefully, Tooch goes 2-0. I may ride with him on a couple of those. Yeah. I rode with him once.
And
I got shot off my horse. But I still love him because he's been shot off his horse with me. So we get the gambling game. You ever see when they go?
Right.
Yeah. He had been hot. See, that's what happens when you're hot. You give out the picks even better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna pick 4 games today instead of 2. Then you go 1 and 3. You go, why did I pick those games? Everything Tooch goes through, I go through.
Yeah.
You know, I bet my picks. Hey, we lost that game. I go, so did I. So did I. What do you think? Hey, I lost my pick. What's wrong with you? I asked him, go fade me. They don't fade me too many, but I'm just saying. Aldo, it's been great, my friend.
Yeah, it has been great. I want to let people know that we've got more programming coming up on the Barroom Network today. We've got Bar Down, our hockey show at 2 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we've got our new basketball show, C Red Radio with the Ellis Brothers. And then tomorrow, Greg Gabriel is back with part 2 draft special. And he loves you too.
Yeah.
And the two of you, I got to get you guys together.
We'll get together. But I tell you, he's doing a great job. It's good to see him doing the draft on the show.
Yeah,
he's got a good. I listen to him all.
10 years.
I'm at the stage now. Just tell me who we got, please.
That's right.
If I hear one more thing about Justin Fields, I'm going to throw up in my mouth. I've had enough. Nothing against him, but shut up. He ain't that good either. He's an Ohio State quarterback. Let's quit building everybody up. Let's hope to God they all work out. Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, before I let you go, there's just one thing very, very important I need to ask you. I almost forgot. Last year was the 6-year anniversary of the passing of your very, very good friend, Doug Buffone. John Buffone, who works here at the network, put out a really sentimental, beautiful video yesterday, and I wanted to get your words on Doug, your old buddy.
Well, I'll never forget when I started at the Score. He had a thing called the Doug Buffone Sports Magazine. I get a call. He wasn't at the Score yet. And he says, hey, I go, who is this? And he called the hot dog stand. He goes, my name's Doug Buffone. I go, I know who you are. Hey, we were wondering, we want to bring a camera crew by. I go, that'd be awesome. So he comes by and he brings his camera crew. I met Kevin Yaw, met a lot of great people. And I ended up being on that show with them weekly after that. We became buddies. I respected the hell out of him. He came to play. I told the story yesterday how I was one of the first to put a studio in my home before Coded and before all this stuff, in case we had to go to O'Hare or in case we had, something happened at home or something. I had a backup. I never really took a day off except planned vacations. So we had to go to O'Hare on a remote. So Doug and I were going to do the show from my house. Doug gets to work early. He put his time in, but he didn't want to come in the house right away. He wanted to stay out in his car and prepare for. Now, Doug had longer hair at the time. And the best way I could describe Doug, if you've seen No Country for Old Men, he started to look a little like Shagor. So he's sitting in his car, and all of a sudden the cops pull up. Neighbors saw him in the car, sitting in a residential street, looking around, just sitting there for a half an hour, and the cop showed up. And then he told me who he was, and he signed autographs. And then he came in and did the show. Great guy, proud bear. Proud of what he accomplished, was happy. He told me, he said, you know what I like about being with you? I go, what? Nobody's just looking at me as a football player anymore, as an ex-Jack. Because Doug was mostly, Doug was Bears, and he hated that stereotype. He liked, because he knew everything. He tried to know everything about everything. Mm-hmm. There's certain guys that know one sport, certain guys that know 2 sports, and then there's other guys that know more. And so he knew more than one sport. But he didn't like being stereotyped for that one sport, even though that's why he got in. So once the Wise Guys started, we had a great show. And we had a good little run, and Doug was just fantastic. Great guy, rest in peace. And he, the fact that he's gone after 6 years already. Yeah. Sometimes it seems longer and sometimes it doesn't. That's all. Yep.
It really does. I know how special he was to you.
I saw him play. I waited for him outside the gate. Mm-hmm. I'm 1966. I have your autograph, and then I'm working with the guy 28 years later. I told him when it happened. They had a practice at Soldier Field before they played there.
Right.
Cubs were using Wrigley.
Right.
Me and my buddies went to Soldier Field. Took the L, ran over there. There was 10 of us. We got in the joint. Butkus, Cut School, Butkus, Buffone, Sayers, they're all out there. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, Butkus comes out, all them guys. We're like, they were gods to us. And Buffon comes out, hey, how you guys doing? And my buddy goes, hey, Dick. He loved Dick Butkus. Kick ass Sunday. And Dick Butkus turned around and starts walking towards him. And Doug goes, come on. Butkus was in a bad mood. He didn't like somebody, maybe the kid saying ass, but he loved him. And we loved him even more. Then I go, he was going to kick your ass. Butkus was going to kill you. That's awesome. Well, I relayed that story to Doug. I go, yeah, and the reason he knows I know, there was a guy that was married to a Playboy bunny back in the day named Staley. That was an offensive lineman. And I said, no, defensive lineman. I go, you remember Staley, the man? Yeah. I go, that's who you were with. He goes, he was a good guy, buddy. And that's when he knew. He goes, I remember. So those are weird things to end up working with the guy after you're a little guy asking for an autograph in 7th grade.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. And
then I worked with Peyton and Sayers. And Butkus was on my show. All my guys.
Unbelievable.
I mean, because there was genuine love when I had them guys on.
Yeah.
I love them guys. Yeah. They were the brightest thing in my life, the Bears.
Yeah.
People don't know. This group here, people don't know. They don't stick around. Our guys were there's no free agency. They were our guys. You lose, you lose.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, no, we got to get somebody better than you. Buffon, to this day, he always said, I'm glad I never left the Bears because he had offers. I mean, he could have gone to San Diego. He was drafted by the Chargers and the Bears. So he could have played for San Diego. He said, you know what? I'm an NFL guy. That's what happened. And he signed with the Bears, period. But he could have signed with San Diego and nobody even knows who he is here.
Right. He was born to play in the NFL. He was born to play alongside Dick Butkus. He really allowed Dick Butkus to roam and freelance and do all these great plays and so forth.
Stop it. Dick Butkus roamed wherever the hell he wanted to, and he didn't need anybody. You know what he needed? Hold him up. Like the phone says, Blue Buddy, I can't believe it. I'm supposed to make a tackle. Yeah. I wrap the guy up. I hear, hold him up, Dick. I mean, hold him up, Doug. If Butkus coming, a full charge. Helmet first. Hold him up. He's holding him up so he won't fall.
Yeah.
Boom.
We used to do that, and when we played Sandlot football, we'd hold them up, and
hold them up.
The other guy would come in and take his wallet. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Mike, I'm going to leave our fans with John.
Who waves anymore on Zoom besides me?
Going to leave our fans with John Buffon's tribute to Doug, and then we'll be back here next Wednesday on the Mike North Advantage, brought to you by our friends over at Win Daily.
Win Daily, WinDaily.com, Win Daily Sports. Check out them. I am on Sirius with the boys at 4:15 on Saturday. Twitter show tomorrow with Johnny Jantz and all the guys. Win Daily Sports. And if you want more picks from campers, go to Win Daily. Follow Win Daily, WinDailySports.com or at Win Daily.
There you go. Talk to you later.
See you, bud.
Welcome to PNC Studio.
That is the wrong video.
I'm back. Listen, let me tell you another thing. I don't know when that guy's coming back.
Where's my video? Oh, wait a minute. Give me a minute here. I
Get
know
him the hook.
I know what
kill time. I'll kill time.
Please kill a little time.
I'm going to sing to everyone. Oh, my God. There's the plane headed towards the runway. The wheels locked.
I'm like, what
and when the wheels locked, we crash landed. I'm Ted Williams. Yeah. I shot down Japanese planes and I crash landed in an airplane. But tonight there'll be 5 NBA players out with load management. Back to you.
Goodbye, everybody.
You know, when people ask me what my Uncle Doug was like, it's difficult to answer. Do I tell them about the big goofy uncle that came home to Pennsylvania 3 to 4 times a year? The guy who picked me up as a 1-year-old and called me Sumo? Do I tell them about the guy that always sent Chicago Bears gear home to me when I was a teenager and never acted like he was anything other than another buffoon in the basement talking about football and fishing? Or do I tell them about the guy that taught me how to be a professional radio host? A guy who had so much on his own plate, but still made time to come on my show and mentor me when I wanted to get out of the business. And he did that out of the sheer kindness of his heart. You see, you may know him as one of the best linebackers in Chicago Bears history, or you may know him as an incredible radio host. I'm fortunate enough to know him as Uncle Doug. And not a day passes that I don't think of him and what he did for me. But it's true that you don't know how fortunate you are to have someone until they're gone. I miss you.